Joining me now is Danielle McLaughlin, the author of the book, The Federalist Society, How Conservatives Took the Law Back from Liberals. Let's say something goes wrong with the Kavanaugh nomination. He withdraws or the support for him gets pulled.
Yeah.
What happens next?
Well, the president has a list of about 25 other people he could easily pull from, and many of them, and Democrats have to be careful what they wish for in some respects, are going to be far more to the right than Judge Kavanaugh. One example would be William Pryor, who is on the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals. He was a recess appointment to that court from George Bush in 2003, and he's called Roe versus Wade an abomination of constitutional law. We've heard Kavanaugh hedge that question, but that's something that William Pryor has been no stranger to and certainly unafraid to talk about.
As a prominent Democrat in your own right?
Well, not Democrat.
Is Donald Trump the genuinely elected president?
Of course he is.
All right.
Of course he is.
You
I mean, maybe
the
it was
first person to say
Write this down. Write this down. 78,000 votes across 3 states, but of course he won the election. We need to move beyond this. I will say, actually, if you look at the media coverage from around that time, it was actually the Comey letter that really loomed large across all media. The October 28th letter where he said he was reopening the investigation into Hillary Clinton. I'm not going to pretend that WikiLeaks, I sat here at this table and other tables defending her, defending Podesta, defending the emails for months in the lead up. But in that crunch time, it wasn't the emails, it was the Comey letter.
If he does the same with China, it's game over. Do you think that's true?
Well, let's be clear about the status of these trade deals. So USMCA, which is sort of the new NAFTA, has to pass Congress because it is a treaty. It is not an executive agreement or anything else. Will Congress give that to the president? Probably not. We have never waited this long for disaster relief. It was hung up because the president didn't want to give any money to Puerto Rico and because the Republicans put a poison pill in, knowing that there was going to be a problem with it. It was an immigration poison pill in a disaster relief bill.
What do we do if we don't have a Second Amendment?
I'm not going to sit here and say that we shouldn't have a Second Amendment. If you are for any of the Constitution, you're for all of it. The issue here is not about personal security or safety in the home. Even Scalia said that the Second Amendment is not unlimited. We're talking about high-capacity magazines. We're talking about the free availability of semi-automatic weapons.
We also have the empirical data. More guns, less crime. Just read Dr. Lott's book.
More guns means more gun violence. More guns means more domestic violence ending in murder. More guns means more suicides that actually
Gun control
end in
doesn't
death.
work, though, does it? It's not working in Chicago. It's not working in France, is it?
We should at least have a reasonable and rational and constitutional conversation around these things.
We're having a conversation, but I'm giving you data. Chicago has some of the toughest laws in the country, and look at their violence. France has some of the toughest laws in the world.
Here's the stats on Chicago. 63% of the guns recovered in crimes in Chicago came from out of state.
Just bring up the,
Chicago is ringed by states with lax gun control. That's part of the problem.
Not others. If you're a coastal elite, you can't like football. But isn't that type of language, that part right there, when she's talking about football and mixed martial arts, why does it have to be separate from loving Hollywood in the film?
I think you're right, and I think of everything that she said in that speech, I think that was one thing that she probably could have taken out or taken back. What she was talking about was empathy. She talked about the Hollywood foreign press, right? So she's talking about this idea that actors on a daily basis, what they do is they walk in the shoes of other people. And that is what you do when you're empathetic. She was talking about this notion of Donald Trump as a reality TV personality and this interesting confluence between reality and performance, because he created a persona, he campaigned on a persona. But what that persona did in November 2015 was absolutely and disgracefully mock a reporter. What we saw for months in the campaign and for a decade prior was a person who was willing to latch on to a physical characteristic and make a mockery of it. And she stood up to that. And I think that's something that isn't necessarily political, but it's human.
It's a sanctuary city, and you've got to look at that. This is why it's sparking such a debate.
Right. One of the problems with sanctuary cities is you have to understand there's a difference, obviously, between federal law enforcement and state law enforcement. And what these state law enforcement people are saying is our communities matter to us. We want witnesses to come forward. We will not do the job of the federal government, which is immigration enforcement. And we will not keep somebody in detention beyond legal law, legal limits under state law and violate their Fourth Amendment rights so that ICE can come in and get them.
She's a brilliant lawyer. Hold on a second. A successful author and an insightful political commentator. I'm thrilled to have Danielle McLaughlin on the hot seat. Welcome. Oh, they said it at the bottom there. Brilliant lawyer, author, and political. Is it commenter or commentator?
I do both, actually.
Yeah.
I comment and I commentate.
You know what? I'm so glad they didn't use